Today's episode is brought to you by the Vegas Beer Guys and the Sounds in Cinema podcast.
Everything sequel contains explicit language. And why the fudge not, you melon farmer?
Hello and welcome to an Everything Sequel How Dare You crossover event, the Mannequin edition. Today we're talking Mannequin 2? Or Mannequin on the Move. Hard to say. Chance here of the How Dare You Awards. Joining me, Lady Chu, formerly of 2T Fitness. Hi, Chu.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Very
This movie's
excited
interesting.
about this movie. Yeah. Of course, also, the man I cheat on Chu with, Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions. Hello, Tom.
Now come home with me and we'll discuss it over some mutton. I had to rewind and play that again to get
to
the
hear
last
it.
line. I thought she said we'll discuss it over some mud, which would have been, it's a better joke actually.
Right, it might have made more sense.
But mutton's fine.
All right. Well, today, as just stated, we're talking about Mannequin 2 on the Move, known as Mannequin on the Move, a 1991 film directed by Stuart Raffle.
This movie identifies as Mannequin on the Move.
Right. I mean, there's no other... There's no easy way to put this. Most posters say Mannequin 2, but when the credits roll, it's Mannequin on the Move.
Yeah, I think that's more appropriate. They could have just taken out the 2. And it would have been fine.
Absolutely. Stuart Raffle, Chu, he's going to be in our lives. Let me tell you something. All right? For one, he wrote Passenger 57. Always bet on black. He's directed The Philadelphia Experiment. I'm sure you know all about Michael Paré and Nancy Allen, right, Chu?
I know it well. Really well.
He also directed Mac and Me. Pretty nice.
Oh. Now I'm getting flashbacks.
Yeah, a
to my
complete and
childhood.
total E.T. ripoff. Shout out to Matthew Aldrich and his kids. We have inside jokes about Mac and Me. All having to, they really loved that line. Pretty nice. And finally, Chu, Stuart Raffle directed one of my all-time favorite movies when I was in the 6th grade, The Ice Pirates.
That's the name of a movie?
Yeah. It's a space movie in which water is scarce and these pirates are constantly stealing ice.
Oh, wow.
And they just want to get to the blue planet. There's a myth about the blue planet.
That sounds more fictional than Shrimp on the Barbie.
I'm speechless.
Let me tell you something. Miss Angelica Houston is in The Ice Pirates.
Oh, okay, well, you can't argue with that. She's terrifying. I wouldn't argue with that.
So we're definitely going to have to watch that someday, Chu. This movie, however, Mannequin on the Move, we dropped from 20% to 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
It does.
They're both low, but the proportion is about right.
All right.
The proportional difference between the two.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Just
Condescending to me again, you fucking asshole. A budget of $13 million. This is a movie least wanted to see, Chu. Budget of $13 million, an opening weekend of 1.6 in the USA and the world, $3.7 million.
Oh, yikes. Oh, no.
Yep.
Don't you have a most unnecessary sequel category?
Yep.
This has got to fall in there,
Absolutely.
right?
Would be nominated for that. Nominated for Least Wanted to See. Nominated for... I mean, it's a ridiculous concept. I don't know. Fantasy? I suppose in the world of a fantasy, a 1,000-year curse isn't that ridiculous.
True.
But when you connect it to the previous movie, it becomes ridiculous.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, the fact that it's happening twice, that's the ridiculous part. In the same department store a few years later, and that no one's immediate thought is, didn't this just
happen once?
Yeah. And the mannequins themselves are unrelated. They're just two random... Yeah, no. No.
That's right. That's the part of this movie that's hardest to get over, is that, that's all happening independently.
How many more mannequins are there? Is there a whole plethora of mannequins that are just under these 1,000-year curses, just waiting for the loves of their life? I fucking hope not.
We could just keep going with these sequels.
Yeah.
So many 1,000-year curses.
Such a cliche, the 1,000-year...
Yeah.
in the world of mannequins coming back to life, the 1,000-year curse is like the... It was so over it.
Right. All right, where to go to next? I mean, so we've done our ranking. Chu, did you ever officially decide? You said Mannequin 2 over Mannequin, right?
I did say last episode that I could be swayed because I am not sure. And having already talked about Mannequin, I think I might retract. I might say that, yeah, Mannequin 2 is no bueno. It's not good.
I hope you change your mind again after we finish talking about
Yeah, at the end, I'll be like,
2.
Actually, this movie fucking rocks. I don't think I'm going to say that.
Well,
I'd say it's better than it should be.
yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I might
think
agree
it's
with you on that.
It's overall a bad movie, but I see a little green shoots of things that work. And
as bad as it is, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I have an alarming number of positive points for this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I need to know them.
Do you want to talk positive first or grievances?
Grievances.
All right. Gotta flip pages. That's how many notes on this movie I took.
I think that says it all.
Okay. Grievances, I have 49 grievances. Almost the 50 burger. What about you,
Yikes.
Chu?
I had 31.
All right.
31. So more than Mannequin.
Right.
Wow.
Tom?
41.
Oh, I outbid you both. Nice. All right, now I'm really curious though. Chu, you're under 5. I'm gonna say for positive points.
No, I'm not.
Really?
I don't know what's happening this last month with me and my scoring, but stuff's not correlating. I have 13. And now the more I
Nice.
think about it, I'm like, I don't know. I gotta read back. Why did I?
What did I like?
Why
Why did I like
star
it?
next to?
All
I
right,
don't-
13.
Yeah.
Tom, how about you?
Well, maybe I've got to read back too. I got 21 positive points.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But 12 of those are
Both.
both
Yeah.
positive and negative.
Yeah.
Literally could not decide whether I liked it or not for 12 of those grievances and positive
Yeah,
points.
I said in the last episode that I thought I would have a lot of doubles, both positive and negative, and it turned out I just had a ton of positive points of things that I just fucking loved in that movie.
For both movies, I've had exactly half. Have been both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This movie had more, but I did have 24 positive points for this movie.
So you beat it. Wow.
I beat you both.
You beat us both.
I'm amazed.
Okay.
Blown away.
Wow.
I beat you both. Yep. Amazing. I was shocked to get at, like, I had to go to the second page of my notes for positive points after having closed off my positive points on my page. So I've got 2 columns, but a lot of times in our movies, Chu, there's so many grievances that I think to myself, well, I'm not going to have more than 10 positive points. And so I just draw a line and then I second column grievances. And I did that for this movie when I had maybe 6 lines of positive points left. And then I filled all those up and wrote at least 6 more.
Wow. You were a little bit taken by this movie, seems like.
That's not the exact right word, but there's
Something happened.
yeah.
Something
did happen.
I had those moments.
Because I had some nostalgic moments just seeing Stuart Pankin and remembering not necessarily the news show on HBO. Chu.
Thought it was the newsroom. Or no.
We're
newsroom?
talking the 80s, okay?
Or just the news. Okay.
It was the prequel.
Not necessarily the news. A fake news program long before the Jon Stewarts and the Colberts of the world ever attempted it. Although they're doing real news, actually, so.
Yeah.
But anyway. And Tom, Terry Kaiser, back in our lives.
Where did we last see Terry Kaiser?
Come on.
What?
It's literally the last movie we watched.
No.
But I'm not going to say it out loud because I'm going to release.
Okay.
I'm going to release.
Okay.
I'm going to release this.
You know what?
Before that.
You know what threw me? It was the life that threw me. It was the life in his body that threw me. He looks totally different as a live person.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that puts the movie in a whole new context for me because I have a couple of moments in this movie where I realized that someone was in something else that I'd seen, and it every time it threw me.
Yeah, because there are the actors in this movie are in things that are great. Most people don't even know. Christy Swanson, original Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Wow.
William Ragsdale. Love that guy.
Justified.
In both Fright Night, Charlie and Fright Night, and he's Herman from Herman's Head.
And he plays the sleazy realtor boyfriend or realtor boyfriend in Justified.
Oh,
that was where
yeah.
I recognized him from.
Right.
And it made this movie a little better for me, as did seeing the dwarf from Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, for the benefit of our audience, Lady Chu.
Don't just cut that bit out, okay? Like, put the context around that. That makes me sound like a real dick if you just leave. If you just have and the dwarf from Twin Peaks.
You're a monster. Lady Chu, try to explain to both audiences what the hell this movie is all about. If you please. Yeah, that's the appropriate response.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
luck.
So, shit, what's even her name? Her character? Jessie. All right.
Jessie.
Jessie is supposed to be a peasant girl, but this peasant girl is living in a motherfucking mansion, essentially. Big piece of land. So, okay, go fuck yourself. Falls in love with a prince, but they're not really supposed to be married because Mom, the queen, doesn't like quote-unquote mixed marriages.
Yeah.
They're both white. Ain't nothing mixed about it. Okay? I don't know what you're talking about. Moving on. Evil Mom Queen is friends with a sorcerer who enchants a necklace and tricks Jessie into wearing it and then freezes her in time, essentially. So the prince and her can't be together because Mom's a bitch.
Big bitch.
Big bitch. So Prince gets super mad and equally sets his own stipulations to the curse and said, okay, well, for 1,000 years, if you're going to fuck over Jessie, I'm going to fuck over the kingdom, and you just got, like, the worst luck. And so you see in the little title cards, not a title card, but, like, down, time card.
Yeah.
It's still raining, which...
Time card.
That was a positive, by the way.
I think time card is a positive point.
I enjoyed it.
Time card?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's Halloween
It's like
freestyle, Tom.
It's like
Time
you're
card.
clocking in and out of the movie.
It's like
You need the
Halloween
big
3 has a
cha-ching
time
bell.
card, like
Yeah.
90 minutes later.
Because this movie is work.
1,000 years later, we end up in Philadelphia, and the prince is reincarnated into... I don't know his name. We'll call him main
He's still
character.
William.
Oh, he's still William. Yeah, that's right. And
Not Jonathan.
he works at Princeton Company, which we are familiar
Or I guess
with.
it could, no, his first name, it's William's son, right? So
Jason?
he's Jason Williamson,
That's right.
and he was Prince William.
Jason and Jesse. There you
I
go.
don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, his name is William. No, his name is Jason. I keep wanting to say the actor's name is William.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's called Jason.
Yeah.
He's not Jonathan, but they did go with another J.
Unbelievable.
Which is not helping anything.
So we're in present day Philadelphia, where Jason, who's the prince reincarnated essentially, is working at Princeton Company, which we all know.
Reincarnated.
Whatever. Just say reincarnated.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
It's that
It's like
thing
Ant-
in movies where people play their own descendants, but no one's going to be like at the twit. No one's going to be
Right.
exactly the same, so it's reincarnation. I totally understand what you mean.
You can't.
Not in the
Yeah.
world of the movie.
Chance, you can't nitpick the reincarnated. The fucking mannequin came to life. Okay, if I want to say it's somebody's reincarnated, I
All
think
right,
I'm
all right.
totally
Take it easy.
within
Take
the
it easy.
rules.
Chu would
Anyway.
flunk May's class.
So they have this exhibit in a store, which I don't understand why, but she's, Mannequin Girl has become famous around the world.
Yeah, could anybody tell me, please, why she's leaving the castle to come to America so that he can come to America to retrieve her
It's
when
the
he was
publicity
there
tour.
with her?
I don't
No.
know.
I don't understand any of that.
It had to have been his way of getting money, because he said last year the company or whatever had brought in $52.
That's
Year-
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the year to date was $52.
I
So
forgot about that. All right, I interrupted you. You
Again,
hadn't
we
even
know
gotten the
way
bad
too-
stuff yet.
Again, we know way too much about the profits of this company.
totally.
It's like this franchise is big on giving us the financial figures. We do not need to know.
So he ends up having to be in charge with Hollywood, who we already know, with displaying the enchanted peasant girl. And so he ends up taking the enchanted necklace off. And then boom, Jessie comes to life. And as you know,
Yeah, it takes good old
bad stuff happens. She comes to life, and then
shenanigans ensue.
shenanigans. Yeah.
It takes them an awful long time to figure out the necklace.
I mean, bro,
An awful
Come
long
on.
time.
he's not
Is
bright.
the necklace on or is it off? Is she alive or is she a mannequin?
Right.
You answer those two questions, you've solved the film.
And it's not like it's
fucking
this
mystery.
small piece of jewelry. It's this gaudy-ass necklace. Come on, guy. Fuck, he's stupid.
Snake eating its own tail or something, right?
Something. Anyway, that's
Well,
what
that was
happens.
excellent. Well done.
That was excellent.
Not my worst,
That
not
really
my
made
best.
me. That really made me think. No, I did. I'm not. I see what it made me think about. Listen, I'm
No,
not.
that was a fuck you.
It wasn't. No, because the first thing it made me think of was how the relative luxury that this supposed peasant girl is living in, that Egyptian Kate Middleton isn't.
Yeah,
Because she lives in a tomb, essentially.
with dead people.
With dead people, and she's like...
Well, I think she was
relatively
just hiding,
affluent.
wasn't she? She was
Yeah.
hiding out,
The
Sure.
movie gave me no other
Yeah.
wrapped as a mummy.
Right.
evidence that she didn't live there. But not only is it like this huge piece of land, but she lives in a literal mansion. It's a modern mansion. You can see glazed windows on that house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In whenever this is supposed to be, 15 something. Like, that's a 20th century
House.
retrofitted mansion that you can see the double glazing on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then and also, I mean, I don't know the city of Philadelphia well, but I looked up the shooting locations because I was so sure this movie with its budget of $13 million, which, by the way, is more than double the last budget.
Yeah. Unnecessary.
$7 million more to make this movie. And yet, when they're fighting on the bridge, my first thought was, are we in Central Park? I think it seems like we're in New York. No?
It's
It's
Yeah.
perfectly possible.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. But then I also thought I saw that bridge later in the story. It looked like that might be the bridge that the mannequin fell
They
out
just
of.
cut all the trees down.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know.
It says it's all in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what confused me.
Well, that confused me. That confused me as well. And I'm sure they got great tax breaks
Right.
for going back to Philadelphia, but it's just confusing in the context of the film because this already happened here in this city, and it feels like it would be a more plausible story if it happened somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
It's unlikely to happen twice. It's very, very unlikely to happen twice in the same city at the same store. I mean, that's the elephant in the room.
exactly.
Putting that
Continuing in
aside,
our great
it
tradition
being
of having
Philadelphia is a
inanimate
problem.
objects come alive, I present
Yeah.
to you. What's her name? What do they call her? The poor. What is it?
Enchanted peasant
The-
girl?
The enchanted peasant girl.
peasant.
Thank
There we
you.
go. Enchanted, not entranced or embalmed.
Enchanted peasant girl. Oh, well, that's a good start. Why don't we stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not completely. We'll go
Right.
on.
Yeah.
We're going to take a
Short
break,
episode.
and then we'll come back. Deal?
Deal.
Deal.
All right, right after this, everyone.
I like to think I know something about beer, but nowadays even I get overwhelmed when confronted by the exhaustive selection of craft beers they have at bars, breweries, and even grocery stores. Back in the day you had one, maybe two craft beers to choose from, and if you were confused, you ordered a Guinness. But in beerstinations like San Diego, the craft beer options lately are in double, sometimes even triple digits. So what's a beer drinker to do? You need what I need, the Vegas Beer Guys. Your beer of choice should be a perfect blend of malt and hops. And so a live show about beer needs that same balance. And the Vegas beer guys matches beer expert Dan Aker with self-proclaimed beer novice Stephen J. Weiss. The results are eminently drinkable. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. They'll try new beers, they'll tell you about beer. Think of them as your beer Sherpas guiding you up a foamy-headed mountain to reach the peak of your pint. God, I need a beer.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and Chu and I are here discussing Mannequin on the Move, a sequel to the fantastic Mannequin. Let's talk about this. Is this a Mannequin movie?
No, it's like Frozen Cursed Girl movie.
Except Hollywood's
It's not a
in it.
mannequin.
You know that famous genre of movie, the Frozen Curse Girl movie.
One of the many Hollywood Frozen Girl movies.
But so here's the thing: when Hollywood arrives in the movie, first of all, you're expecting him to say, I have experience with mannequins coming to life or whatever, which he doesn't do until the end of the movie.
Right.
But like, I keep thinking he's going to make it easier. He's going to smooth the transition between these two movies, and all he does is make it more complicated.
So much more complicated.
Because he's the one who says, for many reasons, but he's the first one who says she's made of wood. Right.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what first threw me. I was like, okay, so not a mannequin. Mannequins aren't wood, are they?
They're plastic.
Plastic, right. So she's not a... I mean, that's where I was out on the mannequin bit of the movie.
I quit this fucking movie.
Yeah, she's a
Wood?
she's a
Fucking
sculpture or
bullshit.
a carving. She's a carving, basically. She's a carving.
Right.
It's a carving movie. That other famous genre.
So, but it's just funny to me that we have this movie with a completely different premise almost, at least in the sense of we're dealing with a curse as opposed to, I don't know, maybe it is maybe it's similar enough. Because it's kind of a curse in the first one, right? She said, I guess it's not a curse. She just says, I want to be somewhere where I find the person I'm supposed to love, and it takes 1,000 years.
But she ends up with other people. So wouldn't the gods know to just send her straight to
1987?
Yeah.
To Switcher?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because at that point, it just sounds like she's a muse. You know?
Yeah.
I kind of like not knowing the answer to those questions, but in this movie, I feel like I'm
Right.
forced
Yeah.
to ask and answer these questions for myself.
This movie's trying to answer them in the same way that you force feed a duck to fatten its liver.
Disgusting image, but correct.
All right.
Where are we?
The beginning of the movie. We haven't done anything yet. What are you talking about?
Sure?
We talked about the double glaze mansion.
My first grievance is this looks like a drunk man was filming this movie.
Yeah.
When she runs straight towards camera and then they kiss and she says more and again.
Why do you need that amount of handheld camera?
I don't understand it.
In this movie,
That was weird.
of all
It
things.
looks like he was in the middle of dropping the camera as she was running to camera.
Well, there's your answer. And they decided to turn that into a style choice.
And I, of course, too, I also had the note, mixed marriages, question mark?
Yeah, what is she talking about?
That he's up. I think.
It's just a rich-poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a. I think it's.
But
just
it's a weird way to
thing.
phrase it.
And they're trying to make a gag out of it, but we don't know. We don't know the context, so it's difficult to know what the joke is when you don't know the context of the joke. Just a little comedy note there for the movie.
Oh, I wondered if you had a major grievance, Chu, when he started brushing his teeth in his car.
Absolutely. You know I made notes. You know I made notes on that. Are you telling me that you were so... Look, I'm never going to be so late to something to where I'm actually going to just take the time to bring everything that I need to brush my teeth, but do it in the car. I might as well
eat breakfast.
And eat breakfast. I might as well just do that at home.
Be late.
Yeah.
Yeah, be late.
He runs out to the car without his shoes and socks on.
Like, honest, it's that, you know what? That's classic movie bullshit that I don't fucking like. As if that I'm supposed to relate to him on some level. Like, oh, this happens to everybody and it's cute. It's not fucking cute. It's stupid. It's stupid. Do you think that I've ever just gotten in my car with no fucking shoes and driven away? No. Especially to an interview or a new job or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, this is, by the way, day one of his new job. Get your shit together. The
eating of the cereal in the car, I get what we're doing. Like, you have the dry cereal and the milk. But you took a carton of milk with you in the car. You took... What?
That milk's dead.
It's dead.
Yeah.
No. No. And then I think he washes the toothpaste down with something to drink. Because it wasn't water. Which defeats the purpose of brushing your teeth.
You can't get water now, apparently. This dialogue later on in the movie
right.
that refers to the fact that
that's right.
Pepsi is easier to get than
water.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's 0 calories, no sugar. She's like, oh yeah, we have that. It's called water.
So.
Well, and also, like,
it's unlikely to be water.
So what imbasses do we see, Tom? I mean, there's surrogates everywhere in this fucking movie, for sure.
Oh, I mean, unlimited sequel inversions for starters. The fact that she's a peasant girl now, not Egyptian Kate Middleton. But like it's that so sequel inversions for Chu and for anyone who's listening from the How Dare You side. It's where there's like the same. You basically get the same thing in a sequel that you got in the original, but they've turned it on its head.
Yeah.
So the fact that, you know, in the last movie it was ancient Egypt, here it's medieval Germany. Kind of the same thing.
Right.
Flipped, you know, but flipped the concept. The concept is the same, but the idea is flipped. The fact that the modern day leading man also exists in the past, that the villain also exists in the past and the future. Now, is that the same guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is the sorcerer the same guy?
Yes.
He's just a He's a Highlander.
That's Terry Kaiser.
Yeah, Terry. I know he's the same guy. I mean, in the world of the movie.
Yeah, he's 1,000 years old, or however.
He's immortal.
Yeah.
The prince is a descendant, but he looks exactly the same.
Well, also, I have a question. Was the queen immortal? Because for some reason, 40 minutes into this movie, the queen gets a phone call from Terry Kaiser.
Yeah.
No.
Checking in, and I thought, wow. I wrote down as a grievance, $500 says we never see her again. I had won that bet.
And, you know, as the movie goes on, lots more inversions. Hollywood turns into a mannequin.
Yeah.
We sort of like the first half of the last movie is the second half of this movie, and vice versa. So we sort of ease into, by the end of this movie, it's like the original Mannequin, but it takes about half the movie for us to get there.
Yeah.
She starts in Mortal Danger instead of ending in Mortal Danger. It's like literally they've turned Mannequin on its head.
Yeah.
And that's very common in sequels, we found.
Good times.
There's a recap montage, which is a big impasse.
Yeah, right.
That recaps the movie with 15 minutes to go for nobody's benefit.
I also like
You wouldn't have forgotten the movie if you were watching it. No one in the movie.
Well, now wait, which part are you referring to?
anything.
Are you referring to his remembering?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Major
grievance and positive point. Charlie remembers what happened previously in the movie. Sorry, Charlie's his character from Fright Night.
Why can't we remember this guy's name? But I mean, in terms of like, because it's worth pointing out, I think, because you might assume that some of the characters in this movie carry over from the original. If you didn't know, you would assume that, you know, some of the cast is coming back, or it's different actors playing the same people. No, Jason is a totally different character.
Yes. And
for me, that kind of worked, that he was different enough from Jonathan that it was okay. But what do you guys think? Is Jason too Jonathan?
No, I think he's different enough.
Yeah.
I know he wears jacket and jeans like every man in that period of history, apparently. But apart from that,
was the 1980s still.
I buy that.
Well, I guess not. It's 1991, but
like I like the subtle differences. You know, that he lives with his mom, and you know, he just seems like a different character
instead of calling mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's playing the same role in the story, which is where
right,
the
same role, but the character himself is different enough.
And I think Christy Swanson as well is doing a totally different mannequin come to life thing than Kim Cattrall was.
Well, she has the benefit of this amazing opening of a 1,000-year-old German peasant. You know, to build
That's
from.
Right. to build from. Oh, by the way, I can't think of any other movie in which one actor plays two different characters.
So many times, too. Well, not so many, but, you know, Hollywood plays two characters.
Yeah. Well, three if you count the Marine version.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So.
And William plays two characters. For people that might have been as confused as you, because we were asking ourselves, is Terry Kaiser the same person or is he a descendant? So you might think he's two different people.
Yeah. I think it has to be all immortals.
And Cynthia Harris is both the mom and the queen.
Yeah.
So
right.
Lots of dual roles.
Yeah. So but in other ways, as we've said, it doesn't resemble what most sequels are like. Like, there's no attempt to continue any element of the last movie.
It almost hinders this movie. The idea that Hollywood's there but not commenting on anything that happened before.
It's very strange.
It all makes for a strange bird of a movie.
Yeah.
But I think there's something within the stupidity that makes it engaging.
Well, I was really drawn to the part of the movie that I was really drawn to is the on the move part of the movie. Not just because it's in the title, but I feel like this is what's left over in the story. That's what the last movie left on the table. She never left the department store.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the bits of this movie that work are when she's out and about. You know, going to clubs and restaurants. And...
Oh, I love that they decide to leave, and she's standing up in the Jeep, and
waving hello at everyone.
Waving hello, but my note was he clearly explained what crosswalks are, cars are, electricity is, and America as a concept, and nothing else. Because those are the things she says she loves.
And she just accepts it, like, oh, well, that makes sense. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
This is where history was going, clearly. You can tell that in 1584.
I love crosswalks. I love cars and electricity and America. Amazing line.
Well, she already lived in a mansion with double glazing, so
right.
She was her family were clearly way ahead of their time.
Her perspective's different.
Well, I'm interested to know what you were drawn to in this movie, Chu, because your initial thought was better than first Mannequin.
Right. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is what Tom was saying about, you know, he's drawn to the fact that it's on the move, which I think is a good thing that they did that because it just opens up more possibilities for the movie because you can't do another mannequin stuck in a store again because who gives a shit? I I don't know, they could have just called it, Cursed Girl on the fucking Move, but yeah, they threw in Mannequin there, so it's a problem. Also bringing up Hollywood, the fact that he's in both movies and he's the same character. These two movies didn't have to be Mannequin. They could have just been like Hollywood's Adventures. Like, you know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Like the Adventures of Hollywood.
Adventures.
It's just like shit you see at Princeton Company. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so true. You could have spun it. You could have used him to spin off the property.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it should have been done. Yeah.
No, just thinking about it more. I'm like, ultimately, with a gun to my head, I guess I'll retract and say yes, Mannequin is a better movie than Mannequin 2. But then, like I said before, this is comparing an apple and an orange that wants to be an apple.
And this is not unusual on our podcast, Chu.
Yeah, that's true.
It has to be frustrating.
I've gone to the mat for Batman and Robin, for Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines, for all kinds of movies that people think are terrible and not as good as earlier movies. So
because they're not.
Okay, person thinks.
Well, I want to talk about. I still think it makes almost no sense that she has traveled to America with these 3 German bodybuilders. But then
Well, this is where the movie falls apart.
somewhere around minute 20.
No, it's everything to do with these German bodybuilder guys.
Yeah,
That's the heart of what I don't like about the movie.
like, why was the sorcerer so consumed with her? Like, why was he?
That's a good question.
Why does he want to fuck her? You know what I mean? Like, why is she his property? He could have just shoved her in a fucking closet and then that'd have been it. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand.
And how does he stay alive? Just because he's a
evil.
sorcerer?
Yeah, I think that's it.
He's evil. Sold his soul.
Yeah,
I mean, it's never explained.
I mean, no, it's never explained.
There's lots of things that aren't explained.
So I think bringing Hollywood back is a successful move. I like him pretty much the same as I like him in the original Mannequin, but in this movie, I don't know what he does.
That's what I was just gonna say.
At the store, like in the first movie.
So it seems as though he's been promoted, but promoted to what? I don't know or understand, because how many shows is this department store putting on?
It's a big problem that like, again, it's I think Chu's onto something. You don't have to go back to the same department store, and you don't really even have to go back to the department store. If it could be about Hollywood directing a musical on Broadway, or because that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Right. That's how he's directing some kind of show that I'm pretty sure they don't have at department stores. I don't know how many examples of this kind of thing there is. The opening night of the Mannequin tour, of the Mannequin.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Not a Mannequin tour.
Yeah, that's a weird concept. Like, why is this department store putting on shows? Why is any department store putting on shows? Why is there entertainment based around this department store?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Or was that a thing?
It doesn't seem like a thing. I
can imagine,
right?
fashion shows, right? They sometimes do, well, that's more malls again. It's like... Yeah,
they would do, like, concerts. Like, the teeny boppers in the early 2000s, late 90s would go and do these shows at malls, but not at, like, Nordstrom.
I was going to say, not at Macy's.
Yeah.
So we're basically saying that this is a Mannequin movie without a mannequin, a department store movie with a department store that doesn't act like a department store. So what is this? What is this movie?
I don't understand anything.
I also found it offensive that basically, so they wanted to make like a German bodybuilder, or like an Austrian bodybuilder joke, like an Arnie thing.
Mm-hmm.
But these three guys are like from New Jersey, right? Because they're not using their own
their
voices.
accents are so terrible.
They're three dubbed Guidos.
Well, and that was a frustrating thing
Guidos.
for me because I kept I was. The funny thing about this movie is that when you go to the cast, you know, on IMDb, when you go to the cast and there's a picture of people,
Yeah.
and if it's a person that's, say, done just this movie, there's no picture. You have no, more than 60% of the cast are no picture people, including these three. Yeah. And I wanted to know so much more about them. And I
wanted to know so much less about them than I found out. I really thought they were going to be in one scene as like a all Germans are stupid joke, which, by the way, is not a national stereotype about Germans, but fine, whatever. But I thought that was it, and then they kept turning up again and again. I mean, they ate up so much screen time.
Yes, they're there forever,
and they're never funny. They're never successfully funny in the entire movie.
Not once.
Not once. And I just don't know why we burn so much real estate on them.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Should we take another break?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's take another break, and then we'll come back, and we'll finish up with Mannequin 2 on the move. Right after this. If you like podcasts like I do, boy, do I have a treat for you. You need to
stay on target
and check out the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Listen as your host, sound designer and music creator Tony Parham, and co-host, musical performer and sound lover Derek Hansen, D-Rock if you're nasty, and I am, discuss all things sound related to film, television, stage, and theatrical productions. They discuss environmental sounds, bioacoustics, dialogue, the nature of communication through sound, but as an added bonus, they drink beer and try to
stay on target.
Find them wherever you get your podcasts and listen to the pure mania of a man who can charitably be described as Doug, the dog from Up, and another man with a soothing and sultry voice trying to get that man to
stay on target.
That's the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Tune in and listen to the sounds they are creating just for you. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and Chu and I are here finishing up, trying to decipher the code of Mannequin on the move.
I think there is no code.
Yeah.
There's no code. There's no rules.
I have it listed.
There's nothing to figure out.
We can follow up on this another time, but I'm starting to remember now that I think this movie was involved in an embezzlement scam.
What? What?
It's just as we were talking about it, at the back of my mind, I remembered that I'd heard that this movie was part of one of the producers used this movie to embezzle money.
That would make the most sense for this movie out of
right.
anything.
And even if I'm wrong, and even if I'm wrong and I'm thinking of another movie, it makes way more sense
for this one. Yeah, if it was a vehicle for that,
right?
This movie makes complete sense.
It was just about moving money from one place to another.
That's
criminally.
Awesome.
Okay, but we'll follow up on that.
Wow. So it's funny to me that this movie, this movie tries to constantly get her out of the department store, but always has to come back to the department store anyway as part of the story. Like the Count has to check on her, then they have guards, but then he checks on her, but then his 3 German boys leave, then he tells them to go back, and then she's already gone again. Nobody decides to arrest the Count as he's launching pottery from the top floor of this department store.
No.
Or after he shot the manager of the store in the leg.
Right.
With like an actual gun.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
He's using crossbows.
I just thought of something.
Yes.
So in the beginning, they set the curse on Jesse, and then the prince equally says, okay, well, if you're going to fuck her over, then you guys get 1,000 years of bullshit in your kingdom. So wouldn't you want the curse to be broken? Wouldn't the sorcerer want to keep the necklace off so the kingdom can
How
be
dare
better?
you bring logic?
Why does he
Did
want
they have
her?
to wait 1,000 years, though? Is that part of it? You have to wait 1,000 years.
I think I think Chu is right, but I think there are some like terms and conditions.
Right.
At 1,000 year, I also think I think he himself is trying to embezzle the kingdom away from the queen.
Yeah.
I got that feeling.
Yes.
Maybe that was the producer trying to leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for what he was doing.
Some projection there.
So
I'm gonna
like
put
in any
this
normal in any normal screenplay, what Chu's talking about now would absolutely be the way it goes. But I think the terms and conditions that they set narrowed the field too much for them to be able to do that story unbelievably.
Fuck.
There's a lot of
I think they talked
inexplicable
themselves
shit.
out of it with too much detail.
I kind of wish they just dumped the Germans into the water with with the mannequin and they drowned so we didn't have to see them.
Yeah.
But I did find it alarming that the Philadelphia police just were going to dump them and put all their lives in danger while simultaneously saying, better get out of there, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very early for that kind of a set piece as well.
I mean, is it enough to be called a set piece?
True. One of my big grievances was with the underwater and slow motion in the same scene. It's like my two least favorite cinematic devices combined. Slow motion and scenes underwater.
I'm just starting to realize your hatred for underwater.
It slows everything down.
It's unnecessary.
Yes.
Just tell
Unless
me
you're
that you went
underwater.
underwater. I'll believe you.
Right.
I'm going to make both of you watch Deep Star 6.
The problem is not necessarily with being underwater. The problem is when we get underwater, everything has to slow down, and there's never a reason why it has to slow down. Just show less of it.
I would agree. Like, have you ever been underwater? Nothing slows down. You're just underwater.
Right. Yeah. You don't get this. So in movie,
I
like, people
defy
who make
you to
movies-
run outside your house right now and run underwater and see which one you go faster in, motherfuckers.
But life doesn't slow down. I don't like
Right.
every time I go
Your
underwater,
experience-
I'm not having this
Yeah.
ethereal moment.
That's
I'm just underwater, drowning.
this because what happens is the filmmakers think that you dive into the water and it suddenly goes doo, 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 and it doesn't. There's no music. There's nothing. You set your own pace down there.
Yeah, usually you say I better get back up top in 15 seconds or I'm going to start
Exactly.
choking on water.
Right. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
No, I'm
there,
happy
but
to go down the water road.
Thank you,
That
Chu,
was a
for
good
the support. My anti-underwater agenda often falls on deaf ears, but not today.
I had a grievance against all the dancing in the club, by the way.
Oh, I
Really?
did not like. No.
Wow.
No.
What were the issues?
That they're dancing like medieval style and everything's slow and everybody's
Oh.
looking at them like, oh my god, look at this cute couple.
Everybody
oh, they know
starts
it. No.
doing what they're doing, like everyone does what Patrick Dempsey does in Can't Buy Me Love.
Mm.
I've never seen it.
You can go watch it some other time. God damn.
Well, this really must be a crossover because I've never seen it as well.
Oh,
What?
shit.
And you know what? The worst part of that is I bought it. I bought it as a birthday present for my wife who loves the movie, and I still haven't seen it.
It's the African anteater dance
Can you do it?
in that movie. I mean, it's kind of...
Right, okay. Well, that was great for us, but no one.
It's terrible
one's gonna-
on an auditory
Right.
medium such as a podcast.
I like that you weren't even narrating the motions you were making as well. Like you weren't even trying to make it audio friendly. It's just gonna silence. Everyone's gonna assume that like their internet's gone down.
No. What's going to happen is everybody else listening will know what I'm talking about because they've seen
Yeah.
that movie.
That's true.
You're the only two idiots.
I went back and forth on that sequence a lot because this movie's a 1991 movie, right? So we're right, we're like right in this transitional moment between the 80s and the 90s, and it often takes a while for you to shed the kind of style of the last decade.
Right.
So it seemed very 80s.
This feels
but...
way more like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Right, but the club, it felt like an 80s club, but style-wise there was starting to be a turn towards what we think of as the early 90s. But other times I just thought, well, this is just like a 80s discotheque with some Kid and Play lookalikes like thrown onto the dance floor. And so I kind of liked it as a, looking at it from a historical perspective, but at the same time I was just like, this is just really weird seeing, and the dancing is just
Horrible.
It is horrible.
Yes.
Yeah. Where's
That's
the
the
music
word.
coming from? That was my big note. Where is
Yeah.
the music coming
I
from?
thought the same thing.
Also, I couldn't figure out why this was the hottest club in town.
Because the bouncer's a dick. I mean, I appreciate
But the bouncer's
him.
Hollywood.
I know,
Which is
but he's mean.
a positive,
liked it.
positive point.
Yeah.
Oh, major positive point.
It makes Hollywood better as a character,
Yeah.
knowing that he doesn't have to, like, the actor doesn't have to be Hollywood to be good.
Right.
Makes Hollywood better.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
make sense?
Yeah. Well, and I love
He's
sort
so
of
macho.
the
So
bridge
macho
between
is-
the two characters for the army guy at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Good times.
Is that the first Few Good Men joke in movies? Because I've heard that joke again, and I mean that joke. The Marines were looking for a few good men,
Mm-hmm.
or I was looking for a few good men, and I found the Marines, or
I don't know. I couldn't say. Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever heard of it.
okay. I feel like I've heard that joke a lot. Anyway, Mannequin on. I tell you what, I thought was like another prototype scene was the dressing up montage. Or is that I think of that as a 90s thing. Is that a 90s thing or an 80s thing?
Oh, well.
When she's trying on clothes.
I'd say 90s.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I liked that.
So I think there was an early adopter of that.
I mean, could you count Pretty Woman? That's 1990.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, so that's what they're.
So maybe it's
probably what they're
Yeah,
referencing.
maybe it's a play on that.
I like that part. That was fun.
Me too.
She also uses...
anything involving her like being out and about doing things. It's a breath of fresh air, literally.
Yeah.
And I feel, maybe it's, I don't know if it's the same department store that they used, but it feels I get a big sense of we've paid for this set, we're going to use it, whether we need to or not.
Yeah, right.
This entire movie should be outside. Yet they keep going back to the department store. Maybe they didn't have the budget to film outside as much as they should have done.
Had
Although you said the budget
$7
was
million
pretty
more
high.
dollars, tell you that much.
Yeah, but most of that was embezzled, remember?
That's true.
At least according to me, with no proof of that being true.
I'm drawing from nothing except memory.
Just making shit up.
Oh, wow.
They definitely didn't have the money to put a balloon in the air at the end of the movie.
Right.
No.
I know that for certain.
Yeah.
They ran out of money at that point because
I was completely shocked that there was even one medium to long range shot of him climbing the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that seems like way too big an undertaking for this movie.
I was just surprised that there was a hot air balloon in it at all. Because nothing in the movie had made me think that I will be seeing this at some point. It was just like, boom, hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's much more romantic. That's the
Fun fact, there is nothing romantic about hot air balloons. And that's a hill I'll fucking die on. Okay? It's scary. It's scary. You could just easily fall out. You could sneeze yourself out. And then what about the bathroom? How long am I going to be up there?
I think
You
they
want
have
me
a
to drink
pail on the
champagne?
side.
I'm going to pee. And then and then I can't because I'm in a hot air balloon. Also, I can't be making out with you when the hot air balloon tendant is 2 feet away. It's not going to happen. Absolutely not.
All right.
No.
I agree with all of that, and I would add to that, any machine that is operated by fire, I do not want to be on board.
Yeah. Fire and air.
You have to if
No.
you have to pull something and fire comes out. I don't want to be in that vehicle.
I wish not to use
That's
that as
fair.
my mode of transportation. Anything that necessitates the use of fire. I did like Terry Kaiser's line reading when he thinks he recognizes Jason Williamson. And he says have I seen you before someplace? No, what? Maybe yes? Kind of like that.
Yeah. That was all right. I got a little giggle.
I mean, he can do what he wants. He is literally introduced as a mustache twiddling villain.
Except not
So
just a
everything's on the table for him as an actor.
not
from
just
that
a
point.
mustache, an awful lot of play out of that hairy mole.
And the hairy mole later on as well. Yeah.
Chew's upset.
Oh no. I did not like. And he just let the hair keep growing. So that's like 1,000-year-old hair.
I had the same thought.
That's disgusting.
1,000-year-old.
Why didn't he cut it? Especially if he's an immortal.
Yeah. Like he's
Like it probably grows really slowly.
and he constantly gets berated for it. So I'm like, you're an evil sorcerer. Just get rid of it. You turned a girl into a mannequin, but not really a mannequin. You telling me you can't zzz that off your fucking face? Come on. Come on.
Oh, can we talk about the go-kart?
Oof. Yeah.
Because when she crashes that go-kart through the window, I laughed out loud. I had to pause. I was laughing so loud. I thought that was hilarious.
Interesting.
I have it as a grievance.
Well, I have it as a grievance and a positive point.
Obviously, because it's technically a car chase.
It's a cart chase, yeah. Well, I didn't mind the car bit. I just thought that really was like just trying to recapture the magic of the.
They were trying to Keystone Cop that section like the last movie, and it didn't work as well.
It just felt very basic, like
Yeah.
they were going through the motions a little bit.
Well, and also because it involves the wrestlers
Right.
still in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they get as much screen time. They get more screen time than Terry Kaiser does
Mm-hmm.
as the villain.
Yeah.
That's strange to me.
And unnecessary.
Yeah. Very unnecessary.
Also, can somebody explain the department store / count contract? There's a lot of weight given to this contract that I don't understand. I don't understand the
Yeah.
connection between these two things.
Well, that's
Other
why
than the
Mannequin's a
screenplay
better
must have
movie.
these two things together for this mannequin to be, that's not a mannequin, to be at this store.
That's why Mannequin's a better movie, because they take the time to explain to you the financial details.
There's so There's just so many blatant holes in this movie. I'm really glad we're talking about this because I just keep thinking back to the last episode where it was like, I think number 2 is the best. Shut the fuck up, Michelle. Shut up. Just gotta talk it through. Sometimes you just gotta talk it through. There's so many holes in this movie that no one cares. No one cares about. It's like, that's fine. We'll leave it. Why, Jenkins? We don't have to leave it. Just explain it. Damn.
That's fantastic.
And I never feel like there's any narrative or character justification for anyone in the cast interacting with each other.
No, yeah, right.
Like in Mannequin, I got why certain people would ally with other people or spend time with other people in the movie because of
James Spader's just been fired.
You're right. Not to
G.W.
use
Bailey got fired
actually
with
term,
him.
but-
They team up to try and fuck him.
Right, you know what
It
the
makes
character
sense.
wants are here, and it's like, suddenly the manager of the store turns up
At his home.
Jason's mom's home recording a dating video.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know that he wants to do this. And I actually don't know that they don't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
That I would have thought that Jason actually introduced him to his mom. But apparently it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
And then all the stuff with Gail and the security guard, which is apparently like the B romance in the movie, or turns out to be the B romance in the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
With no motivation for that.
No rhyme or reason.
Or necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she
And
kisses him at the end,
is he the
not earned.
And now I'm starting to think he was the janitor promoted.
He is. I mean, but he's
the same guy?
It's the same actor, but he's playing a different character.
No, I understand, but is he the same character?
No.
Well, how do we know he wasn't promoted from the basement?
Different names.
What do you mean
Are you
different
sure?
names?
God damn it.
Because I don't remember getting a name from the guy in the basement.
Yeah, I think that...
What if he's just
yeah.
Andy?
Let's see. He's Andy Ackerman.
They don't name the janitor, that's the thing, so it could be.
Is he wearing
Well-
a name thing? Like a name tag? Somebody's going to have to go back and watch it.
We need to get a screen grab.
Oh, now
It's-
I'm going to be alarmed if it just says janitor.
I guess the point is I sort of want the movie to tell me one way or the other.
I get that.
Yeah. And then Gail kisses him, and she's like, "Oh, Andy, you're so forceful."
It does just
Excuse
say
you?
compactor room janitor.
Yeah.
But the reason I said that was I read on the IMDb notes that it said he was playing a different character. So that's why.
Not different enough.
No.
When Hollywood does the doorman, you know it's a different guy. So the through lines in this movie, not good.
Yeah, why is there a 1988 Temple football schedule on his door? It's fucking 3 years before this.
He's living in the past. Living in the past.
Is that an Easter egg to link the two movies together?
Maybe, yeah. Did anybody else take note? I listed it as both grievance and positive point because it was so ridiculous. But that hard push-in on Hollywood's face at one moment towards the end of the movie.
I have exactly that now.
The camera just zooms in on his face.
What was the scene?
It's after the.
I think it's
It's during opening, or is it before?
Maybe the sword
opening
fight?
night? It's around then.
I think it's right before the sword fight starts, maybe. Also, those like we get some cutaways of the characters doing some pretty serious flips that they look unqualified to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie zoom on his face that ends in a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Which is weird for a comedy. Like, it belongs in a horror movie. So, actually, a lot of this belongs in a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, especially the Count turning into a mannequin and dropping from the sky and having his face smashed.
That is unnecessary.
And then I couldn't tell if they had paid extras to be on the street or if they were just filming the crowd that was watching them film the movie be a part of the movie.
Yeah, as far as they know, a man died. Gruesomely.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
What's left to talk about in this movie? So the hot, for those that haven't seen it, the hot air balloon is what the Count is trying to escape in.
Yeah. And he's definitely rapey.
And he's getting rapey, and our hero climbs, latches onto the rope, climbs the rope like he's the man in black in the fucking Princess Bride. Yeah. And then decides not to kill the bad guy who says, "Hey, I have no problem killing." And tries to...
Well, he pulls a literal gun.
Yeah.
And shit got real in that
Right.
moment in a way I didn't like.
Yeah.
It's like he could have easily just killed the manager, the department store manager, there and then.
Stuart Pankin.
Yes, I know the actor, but
Love him.
I don't remember the character name. The News, and recently saw him in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good surrogate, I thought, for James Spader.
Yeah, I'm actually really grateful they didn't try and replace Estelle Getty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just went with a totally different type of character. Well, he's a bit too much like Wirt, but that's okay because it's a different store.
Anyway, they take off the necklace and put it around the Count, and then he accidentally falls out of the balloon and breaks into 100 pieces. He's horribly, horribly murdered.
He's horrifically murdered and dismembered.
That was
But he gets his comeuppance.
That was a positive point. Watching the dummy fall from the balloon, I laughed out loud. Loved it. That was funny.
Although and again, like, I think they might have had some inkling of how gruesome that was, and they try and offset it by showing him reassemble back in the castle as kind of like a little comic button to put on the movie.
Yeah.
Him reassembled is even more horrific.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying image to end the movie with.
I thought it was really funny though that, I mean, I guess you got it earlier, but I thought it was sublimely stupid that in the last moments of this movie, what they try to show you are the three bodybuilders' motivation for the entire movie, like why they've been here. And it's just to go to, what was it, Cancun?
Bermuda.
Or Bermuda? It's fucking fuck.
Yeah, we know their character wants. Unfortunately, those wants are stupid. The only other note I have that I skipped over was that I do want to ask you both specifically about sausage toaster. Thoughts?
Oh, that whole
Huge
breakfast. Grievance for that whole breakfast.
So glad you brought it up. God damn it.
How did I know that Chu would have an issue with this?
How did we skip it? Sausage in the toaster? No.
The hand vacuum of the cantaloupe seeds.
The dust busting of the cantaloupes?
Have you lost your ever loving fucking mind?
God
That
damn
thing's
it.
disgusting.
Mhm.
And that's
Just-
not how you make eggs.
I don't remember how he made eggs.
He put them in like a fine sieve and was, you know.
That's right. That was weird. He's never made breakfast before. And then he took the frozen canned orange juice and put it in
And
the microwave.
microwaved it.
Yeah.
What? Now you have like
This is
Lady Chu
room
just
temperature
waved at the camera
lukewarm-ish.
like there were flies in front of her.
at least she was still talking while she did it.
That's
Not
true.
like you and your
She's got one up
interpretive
on
dance.
me.
I mean that breakfast would have killed her. So
Yeah.
it's better that she
It's
just
a good
turned
thing
into
she
the
didn't
dummy.
have it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're raised on weasel, you might have a strong enough constitution.
That's right.
You've probably got some good antibodies in there to sort of like fight off an E. coli based breakfast. But first of all, I couldn't tell whether, because like I thought one of the basic rules of using toasters is that you don't put a sausage in it, and I couldn't tell whether this was like a late '80s thing, like you can now put sausage. You know, we
Yeah.
now make toasters that you can slot with slots for sausages, but I'm guessing not.
No.
Right?
I mean,
He just put a sausage in the toaster, which is incredibly dangerous.
yeah, it's going to produce oil and then you have a grease fire.
right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to cook the sausage.
No.
It's going to lightly singe the edges of the sausage.
Not even on 6.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like I also thought, what's that scene telling us about Jason?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he thinks out of the box. I think that's what they were going for.
But he's never
but if
set
he
up.
told- if
He's
he-
never set up like Switcher is as like being an artist or
Right.
you know what I mean. He
Well,
doesn't.
But then I think they're trying to do that here. That's what I think they're trying to do. Trying to say he's got creative.
That's what I
solutions
thought.
to
It seemed
everyday
like
problems.
they were trying to lend itself to this is his form of creativity, and yet it just comes across as completely inept and stupid.
It's like
I took it as, well, he lives with mom and he doesn't want his new girlfriend to think that his mom always makes him breakfast. So he's trying. He's trying.
oh.
That's what I thought. Because
All
why
right.
do you still live with your mom? What's happening here?
Right? It's just
Why are you
like,
in
this
mom's
is
house?
this is a fine place for you to live.
There's nothing wrong with it except that it's your mom's house.
Yeah.
It's time. You gotta move out.
All right, that's it. I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
What's your drinking game, Chu?
Well, I feel like this movie was a better choice for me to do the glasses, Hollywood's glasses, but since I already used that, I'm gonna say anytime she turns into quote unquote a mannequin, or at least pretends to be a mannequin.
All right.
She's really terrible at.
She's not
pretending to
good.
be a mannequin.
She's not good.
I like Christy Swanson in this movie, but I wasn't impressed by her mannequin acting.
No.
But she's not a mannequin, so
Right.
maybe that's fine.
How about you, Tom?
I thought every time that we see the Cynthia Harris as the mom, or I guess as the queen, turn up in a scene, just because she seems like she disappears for like 30 minutes at a time in the movie.
That's enough for a
but-
shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
but then she sort of pops up twice or three times in succession. So
Yeah.
a little bit of a, it's a little bit risky, a little bit dangerous. You could be not drinking for a long time, or you could be taking lots of shots in sequence. So I thought that was pretty good for a drinking game.
All right.
That's yours.
Well, mine was every time we are super focused on the mole with hair.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that too.
that's great.
I thought I was going to lose out. I thought somebody would nab that one. So I'm glad to say I'll win.
This movie works better as as a basis for a drinking game than a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Chu, I put out another round of 6 movies of drinking games. I can't remember. Let's see. I'd have to really think about it.
Well, if you can't remember, I sure as shit can't. I couldn't even remember the fact that I said at some point, stop being obtuse about the concept of fear. I have so many questions for my past self.
At any rate, the one thing I know for sure is we split even 3-3.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it. Tom, are we gonna pitch a quick sequel?
I've got a title and a log line.
All right.
I can throw you. Mannequin goes to Hollywood. Hollywood, and the log line is Hollywood Montrose awakens a gay African tribesman frozen in time by a voodoo curse.
Excellent.
So it's like it's Mannequin, but it's for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's falling in love with the mannequin this time.
Ah, man.
Love it.
And as you can see, I think to Chu's point, there's no mention of Philadelphia or Princeton Company department store there. That context doesn't need to be there for this story to happen.
Right. That was my first idea, was to go the Hollywood route.
Oh, there we go. We've all
Damn it.
we all had the same thought that this.
Did you? I know I sent you a.
Because in the back of my mind I thought, oh, he's the Burt Gummer of this series.
Mhm.
It takes like 2 movies for you to realize that you could do a whole series of movies with this guy as the lead character. Except we never made more than 2 mannequins, so
There you go.
we never got there.
Did you come up with an idea, Chu?
No.
But you did. You said make a Hollywood.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it could be like, the 2 main things outside of the mannequin or the frozen girl or whatever is Princeton Company and Hollywood. Those are the 2, not changing things or unchanging things. So, yeah, I think it's that's unanimous. You have to go that route.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just making another curse movie, which is stupid.
For another Frozen Girl movie. Yeah.
Chance, I think you texted me that, but I didn't understand what you meant. I was thinking.
And why would you?
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Shocker.
any sense. Why would you do such a... This is what I mean.
Makes
It's like
no sense.
the credit check, the picture sequel. These are things we invent for ourselves to do. They don't exist in the world.
Oh, do you have a credit check, by the way? Because we've got about 3 minutes left. So if you've got a credit check, do it now.
No, I think I said it all. Just the doubling. There's a black screen for a second in between sets of credits. I've never seen that before. As if there's an intermission in the credits. A stuntman called Dennis Danger Madelone. And I just noted he doesn't need the danger to give himself a ridiculous name. He already has one. And someone is credited as Happy Girl, and I don't know who that is. And I think the credit was supposed to make it clearer, but it actually made it more ambiguous, because I don't know who in this movie is happy.
That's amazing.
I don't know any of the women in this movie that could be called happy. That's all I got.
All right. Well, I had a sequel idea called Mannequin 3, Hollywood's on the Move.
Oh, great.
But it was essentially
Hollywood.
the same pitch. I mean, it was
Yeah.
almost exactly the same pitch, except I had him moving to the big city in New York.
I like the idea of getting out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll stick with what I can't remember. Maybe I said this in the last episode. What was it? I'll put Mannequin 3, Real Wood or whatever.
Yeah, real wood or whatever. Real wood, whatever. Yeah.
Real Wood, whatever. And maybe it'll be one of those movies where the mannequin is constantly being exchanged, say from one store to another, Like that movie with John Cusack with a $100 bill that keeps touching people's lives or some stupid shit like that.
You want a red
And there'll be
violin
vignettes. So yeah, the mannequin comes alive and makes somebody fall in love with them, and then gets moved to
Or-
another store out of nowhere.
Or you can make a movie about all the times that Kim Cattrall came back to life.
Oh yeah.
Because she talked
yeah,
about
that's true.
sleeping her way through the ages at one point, right?
Excellent.
You make that movie.
All right, well, we'll put a poll out in the field, everyone, for drinking games and sequel ideas alike, pitches. That's it. If you want to tell us what you think of Mannequin on the Move, find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Send an email to either or both the Everything Sequel Podcast at gmail.com, the How Dare You Podcast at gmail.com. For Lady Chu of 2AT Fitness and Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here. Say goodbye, Chu.
Goodbye, everybody.
Say goodbye, Tom.
What is this, prom night? Go ahead, take a hike. I hate taffeta.
All right. That's it. And I'm literally going to end it there because this is probably going to stop on its own in about 10 seconds.
Thank you so much. That was so fun.
This was great.
That was great. Let's do it again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. It stopped.
Starbucks has a new flavor, toasted vanilla. I am, that just like made the rest of my day.
What's the matter with you?
Wow. You know, it's the little things.
I'll say. Very little.
Toasted vanilla. Fuck me up. All right.